Boom. In today's video, we're going to be talking you through how to start a clothing brand in 2023. But the first thing that I wanted to talk about is coming up with kind of like your brand name and why you want to create a clothing brand. So obviously for my clothing brand Buzzed, when I started, I started the clothing brand when I was 17. I didn't know what I was doing. And you guys out there might want to create a brand and not know who your target audience is and whatnot. And it doesn't really matter. All I say is get started, start doing some market research, find things that you enjoy. With me, I love riding mountain bikes and action sports, and I personally struggle with mental health, and so I wanted to create a clothing brand that spreads mental health awareness through action sports. So the first main thing is coming up with your brand name. Come up with a name. It doesn't really need to be super particular. The name doesn't really need to mean anything as such. Represent clothing, it's represents just a name, and that's now I think it's a multi-million to maybe even $1 billion company, but they make insane money with their clothing brand. So just take Nike for example, Adidas, and have a look at those brands. Nike, Adidas doesn't really mean anything, so just come up with a name that you think is catchy, you think is cool. And then the biggest part when it comes to having a name or a brand name or a clothing brand name is create a meaning behind it. You want to have something that you can connect to your target audience down the line, because you want to be able to create content. You want to market to people that are either like you or what your brand stands for. Like us, our brand stands for mental health awareness through action sports, and so we find by creating content and telling our story, people hear our story and they feel connected to that, and so that means they come and follow our clothing brand. Step 2 is market research. So once you've got your brand name and kind of what niche you want to target, whether it's skateboarding, whether it's streetwear style, whether it's lifestyle, bush, country stuff, whether it's kayaking, all that kind of stuff, whatever it is, you want to do market research into clothing brands that are doing well in that niche. So you want to go and do as much research as you can when it comes to the products, the kind of people that follow that, the kind of content that those big brands are creating. And so just make sure you do your market research. Okay, so moving on from your market research, you want to create a brand structure. You want to create kind of a little bit of a business plan. You don't have to be super old school. You write out you want to write out a plan for your business, but you don't need to have all these numbers and blah blah blah. Don't stress yourself over that now, because probably if you're watching this video, you're at the first few steps and you just want to create a few t-shirts and make some videos and try to start selling stuff. You want to figure out what your brand structure is. So I don't know if you guys know, but in the kind of clothing brand retail scene, you can either do pre-orders. That's what we do with our clothing brand, just because we're still semi-small. You can either do inventory, where you spend a lot of money on inventory, or you can do print on demand. So print on demand is super easy. You literally just design up a t-shirt, like I'll show you later on. You have a website that's connected to you have this platform that's connected to your website, that whenever you get an order, it will fulfill it and get sent straight from the support manufacturer to your customer. With pre-order, you create samples. You then order those samples and make content with those samples, and then drop pre-orders for just say 2 weeks. People can pre-order, and then you take the money from the pre-orders and you pay for the bulk order, and that's what we do. Or you can do inventory, where you just order samples, you like the samples, you drop 10 grand on inventory, and then you hype it up, and then you drop it, and you have the inventory, and you ship it out then and there. So definitely figure out what you want to do. I definitely recommend, if you're not wanting to be a high-end brand and you just want to have a logo on a t-shirt, then go print on demand, because it's super cheap and nothing to worry about. But with me, what I felt when we were doing print on demand for Buzz is I felt like I had no connection with, really the design. Obviously I designed the logos and whatnot, but I don't really have any connection to the garments and like the customization of everything. So what we've done here is, as you can see on the arm here, I've got a cool as Adrenaline Seek embroidered along the arm. We've got Drew Into Reality and puff print on our garments, and then we've got a cool big Buzz logo at the back as well as some embroidered hat. So the reason that I went that way with doing customizations with everything is because I felt like I had a say into what we make, and we can make whatever we want. So that's the reason why we did that. But it is a little bit more expensive to start off with, but I definitely recommend it if you are someone that cares a lot about the clothing that you make. It also gives you a marketing angle because you're designing things, because you're getting things made fully custom. Your audience can like give you advice, and you can take that advice and you can make things that your audience wants, and then it'll actually sell because your audience giving you feedback and you're taking that feedback and creating something that your audience wants. So those are kind of like 3 of the brand structures that you want to be doing. So I'm going to move on to the next.
Yo guys, okay, sick. So we are now on the computer and we're going to be running you through the first few things on like how to get your domain, how to set up your website. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing is we're going to go to Namecheap. This is a domain hosting website. Like you can use Namecheap, you can either use GoDaddy, there's a few others. I just like Namecheap because it's like the one that I just started using, and it's super easy. So just say brand name. What are we going to call our brand? moneykids.com. Okay, just say that's what our brand name is. Just going to search it, and obviously MoneyKids is quite expensive, but a lot of domains are super cheap. So just say we go moneykids.co. That's probably going to be cheaper. Yeah, so there you go, moneykids.co, $3.48 a year for the domain hosting. So you're just going to go ahead and buy that, boom, easy. And so moving on from there, we want to go and sign up for Shopify. Shopify is where you're going to be hosting your website. So what you can do is you can start a free trial. I think they have, what you do is just you enter your email here, and you can get a 14-day free trial here. So yeah, you can get a 14-day free trial, and you don't have to pay anything for your first 14 days. I might have a link that I could put down in the description that'll give you a 30-day free trial. So definitely sign up for Shopify. It's the best way. If you guys want me to like create a video on how to create a website and like all that complicated stuff, I won't do it in today's video because it'll take like an hour or a few hours. So yeah, won't do that today, but yeah, moving on to the next thing. Okay guys, so I hope you can still see me. So we're going to move on to now finding suppliers. So there's 2 ways to go about doing this. You can either go on Facebook, which we'll do now. And what we'll do when we're on Facebook is we will look up clothing brand manufacturers and search. So we go clothing brand manufacturer. And there's a whole bunch of clothing brand groups. As you can see, here I am in this apparel and sportswear clothing. This is from like 2 years ago when I was looking for a supplier. Hey guys, my name's Anthony Anderson. That's awesome. Okay, I forgot I even had this on here. So it goes to show this is actually what I did. So yeah, what you can do on these pages is you just post something that you're looking for a clothing brand manufacturer, and you're going to get like, I'm sorry guys, but you're going to get hundreds and hundreds of spam messages from like people in Pakistan, people in China, people in Vietnam that are trying to like become your supplier, and you just got to sift through them. Like the amount of Zoom calls that I hopped on with these people just to figure out if they spoke good English, if they actually knew what they're talking about, if their quality was good. So yeah, that's one way you can go through all these clothing brand manufacturer groups and just like post in them and try to find people that look kind of like trustworthy and whatnot. So it does take a little bit of time, but obviously if you're starting a clothing brand, you just got to put in that grind. You got to put in that grind, guys. So the second option to doing this is hopping on Alibaba. So you hop on Alibaba, bing, bada boom. And then what you go here is you just go apparel, and you find, let's say, baggy t-shirt. So we go in here and we look up baggy t-shirts. Once it loads. So just say we find something that we like the look of, okay? Whether, you know, see how they're using like the puff print here. That's like quite a cool heavyweight cotton loose fitting baggy t-shirt. That's quite cool. So just so we tap on that and we like the look of that, we can then contact the supplier here. And what happens is you just say you push this contact supplier, you fill in all your details and like how many products you want and whatnot, and then you can send, I think it's called an RFQ, and it will send your request that you're interested in this product to like a whole bunch of suppliers and whatnot through here, and then they'll message you through Alibaba, and then I advise you to try get their WhatsApp numbers and then just communicate through WhatsApp, because it's just a little bit easier and you can call them on WhatsApp and whatnot. So I'm actually quite lucky with my supplier. I found them through the Facebook group, and the guy that messaged me was just one of the, you know, workers for the factory. I then somehow managed to get in contact with like the owner of the factory, and that's who I deal with like today. And so literally I can pick up my phone and I can call my supplier like right now, and he'll pick up, and I'll just be like, I need this. I'll be like, okay, sweet, we'll get a sample out to you, you know. So it's really cool. It's like I kind of did get lucky, but you just got to play around. You've got to be trustworthy, you know. You've got to make sure they're trustworthy, and don't let them push you around.
Something else I want to talk to about you guys is when I started my clothing brand when I was 17. A big thing is, you know, you look at clothing brands that are selling thousands and thousands of shirts, you know, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, like they make it, well, they don't do anything, but it seems easy to sell things. It's not easy. You've got to create an audience. You've got to put in the grind. You know, even as a clothing brand owner now, like we're doing pretty good sales, but I'm not taking home heaps of money at the moment, because I'm putting it all back into the clothing brand to grow it and turn it into like a worldwide brand. So it's like a big thing is mindset. Like you've got to know that it's going to take you a while. Like I'm 19 now. I started this when I was 17, 2 years, and only now we're kind of started to see some traction. So it's kind of like a thing that you need to turn up every single day and be passionate about doing it, even when you don't feel like it. So definitely mindset's a thing that you really need to keep in mind. Obviously, mindset. But yeah, drop any questions that you have down below of like my journey, and I'm more than happy to answer them all. But thanks heaps for watching today, guys. Appreciate it heaps. And yeah, drop the comments, like and subscribe.